In this corner, wearing black trunks, we have brute strength and speed, powered by the classic Motorola 68,000 CPU. In the other, wearing purple and gray, we have style and finesse, powered by a slower Rico-designed CPU. It uses powerful external processors to make up for what it lacks in raw power. I've been asked by a viewer if I could do Genesis versus SNES reviews, and I decided what better way to compare these two than to engage them in Mortal Kombat.
First up, and for no other reason other than this is my show, and I can do things however I want, the Sega Genesis port. Probe Software did a great job of bringing the digitized characters to the small screen. They look and move just like their arcade counterparts, with perhaps a few less frames. All of the stages also look great and are virtually indistinguishable from the original. Although I didn't notice way back when, the audio is the best feature of this port. Although nearly all of the voice samples were cut, and I will talk about how much that pisses me off later, the rest of the audio was mixed to take advantage of the unique sound hardware the Genesis has, instead of simply trying to port the mono arcade soundtrack. It sounds great, especially the intro to the pit stage. This one's my favorite. It reminds me of classic 80s Friday the 13th music. Check it out.
Fight!
Mortal Kombat 1 was rather stiff and clunky to begin with, and this port is no different. However, it is compatible with the 6-button controller, and the controls are responsive enough that moves and fatalities work when the button combos are executed. Now we'll peek at the SNES port. When I first saw this intro screen with Goro kicking the crap out of that Acclaim logo, and I read all the positive hype about how great this port was supposed to be, I came in with high hopes. Again, the digitized actors are very well represented, although they seem to be a bit shorter and squatter, but that could be due to the SNES slightly different resolution ratio, I'm not sure. But they are well animated and actually seem to move with a certain smoothness the Genesis version lacks. With stage backgrounds, however, things are a bit different. There's less background animation, and some stages look incomplete. Look at the blank space at the bottom here. And also, on a system that is supposed to have over 32,000 colors to choose from, it looks like they only used about 4 of them. The Genesis definitely has the better looking stages, and the Test Your Might screens feature bigger sprites. Oh yeah, there's no blood. Nintendo says that red causes seizures, remember?
Sub-Zero wins.
For the SNES, it's all about that Sony DSP chip. Here it seems like they directly sampled the arcade music and then hard panned it for stereo and added some reverb. It was probably exciting back then, but kinda sounds boxy and hollow now when hooked up to an audio system. Don't get me wrong, the effect is pleasant enough on your stereo, but I definitely prefer the much crisper and dynamic Genesis audio.
Sub-Zero wins.
This was the most surprising aspect of this port, and unfortunately its biggest drawback as well. The controls are awful. It seems like there's a quarter-second lag between your button presses and the action on the screen. I have trouble getting Kano's finishing move or Sub-Zero's slide or a bunch of other moves to work reliably.
Sub-Zero wins.
We all know the story on fatalities in this game. The Genesis got the port with the bloody fatalities, while SNES fans got nerfed by Nintendo's family-friendly policies at the time. But we'll take a look at them. First we have Sub-Zero Genesis, Sub-Zero SNES,
Sub-Zero wins.
Raiden Genesis, Raiden SNES. Okay, that one's actually kind of cool.
Raiden wins.
Johnny Cage Genesis, Johnny Cage SNES. I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to be.
Johnny Cage wins.
Kano Genesis, and Kano SNES. I hear he still rips out the heart, but the controls stink so bad that I can't get it to work. I mean, it's back low punch. Should be easy, but it never works for me. The other fatality, of course, is the pit stage fatality, which Liu Kang's uppercut is most satisfying to use on. Both ports have this, with the exception being obviously, there's no blood in the SNES version. The missing voice samples on the character select and victory screens really irritate me in the Genesis port. I fully blame Probe's shoddy programming for this, and despite the missing fatality, I was ready to give the victory to the SNES, but the crummy gameplay and unfinished look of some of the graphics was the deciding factor. Round 1 goes to the Sega Genesis.
Fight.
If you have the Sega CD add-on, you got a port that took advantage of all the extra audio hardware the Sega CD offers. All of the voice samples are crystal clear, and all the game audio appears to be straight from the arcade port.
Sub-Zero.
And look at the pit! All that blood and gore not present in the Genesis or SNES versions.
Sub-Zero wins.
What's this? Another contender? That's right. If you bought Mortal Kombat Deception for your Xbox, and it was the Collector's Edition, spelt with a K, you received a bonus disc with the making of Mortal Kombat Deception, as well as an arcade-perfect port of Mortal Kombat 1 to play on your Xbox, along with the actual Mortal Kombat Deception game, which we will be taking a look at later. Now that is a lot of Mortal Kombat for one package. Oh, and by the way, while you can't use Johnny Cage's ball punch move on Sonya, feel free to grab a handful of boob on your way out.